This is a compiler design question. We have been given this C code and we have to answer that which of these phases in a compiler will throw an error for this code. So now looking at this first line, int main, there is no error in this. It is as per the standards which actually exists there. But coming to the second line, integer x. Now here what happens is integer and x. The first phase of the compiler, which is the lexical analysis phase, as we all know, what will it do? It will check for these integer x followed by the semicolon, and it will find that all of them are valid identifiers. So it will treat this integer x semicolon, all of them as different identifiers. Because if we had to declare a type in C, then what is the syntax that we use? For the type, we would have used small int in order to denote the integer type. But if we write this entire integer, then that is not a valid reference in C language. So this gets treated as an identifier. So now what does this lexical analysis phase do? It says that integer and x, they are both different identifiers. So it successfully parses that and converts it into a stream of token. So there is no error in this lexical phase. Next we go to the syntax analysis phase. In that what happens? It gets as input a stream of tokens in which this integer and this x both are stated as identifiers, and as per the rules in C language, it is not allowed to have two different identifiers next to each other like this, because there is no operator between them. They are simply two identifiers next to each other. So this theoretically has to throw a syntax error as well. So for the timing, let us say syntax analysis phase will generate an error that is a valid candidate for our answer. But if we actually try to compile this code and check it out, then what happens is that it simply says that this integer, this particular keyword, it is an undeclared identifier. So it is actually confused whether to call this as a keyword, as an identifier, as a literal. What exactly should it be? Because this is not a valid way of declaring a type, and this is not a variable instead. So when we try to compile it, the error thrown is that this integer word is an undeclared identifier. And in which phase does this error gets thrown? Such an error is thrown in the semantic analysis phase. So going practically, we see that the error appears in semantic phase and not the syntax analysis phase. So this can also be a valid answer. Then machine dependent optimization, there is nothing as such required for this code, and in the previous phases only we are getting the error, so we are not actually going to check for the next levels at all. So this is definitely not a valid candidate. So now from these two, this was an MCQ question, so only one had to be correct. So that was a little debatable which phase to go with. And as per official answer keys, and even if we check it out practically, then we get that it is the semantic phase which will raise error instead of the syntax analysis phase. So that is what we'll be going with, the option C as our answer.